Today, we're going to be talking about not sure what you're going to do with your degree, so we can discover the job that is breaking the traditional career path and helping people earn up to $85K at the entry level. So let's go ahead and jump into it and uncover some more information about this topic. So here's the agenda that we're quickly going to run through today. Again, it's an alternative professional route that you can take, and we're going to help explore all of those options. So the first thing that we'll cover today is the mold of that traditional career path. From there, we'll start to transition into that career path that we're promoting today, the tech industry, and we'll talk about all the different avenues that come with the tech industry and how we can help you navigate them. We'll talk about the career paths that the tech industry has to offer, the tech unicorn, which is a UX UI designer, who can become a designer and how to become a designer. And then again, we'll open it up for some Q&A at the end of this presentation. But of course, feel free to interrupt me with any questions as we go forward, and I'm happy to pause and address those. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump into the first agenda item. So for the past few decades, the career path has been predetermined for us, right? And that's something that I think we can all agree on. We grew up thinking that we have to go, through grade school, through high school. After high school, we can, enter the workforce. If we were looking for additional education, we can go through trade schools or universities or things like that. And this is what it kind of has always looked like. Go to an academic institution, earn that degree, get that entry-level job. And then once you're in that entry-level job, you sort of need to climb that corporate ladder, or it might not even be in a corporate role. Whatever role you're working in, you want to climb it, get to some managerial type level, and then eventually retire, right? That end goal of retirement. But we've now been granted this new path that we could take, right? What if we told you there's this other path that no one is really telling you about until now? And that's what we like to call that tech industry, right? In most sense of the word tech, we like to think about, computer geniuses, people who understand how computers work and the network and how they can, create all these different types of technologies. And that's true in one sense of the word. But tech has become so ingrained in every single product that we use that it is now opening up job opportunities to almost everyone out there. We need people from all walks of life to be able to make these products better for our users, for people who are using them. And that takes more than just a computer genius. So let's talk about this alternative route in the tech industry. First thing that we'd love to talk about on this time frame here is you can spend less than a year learning the basic principles and foundations, right? If you go to get that tech education in whatever role that you're looking for, you can acquire those skills in under a year. If you go through things like a boot camp, you can get that experience while also working on some real life projects that apply those skills, which makes you get that real world experience. After that, in under a year, you can land that entry-level job. And most tech jobs are paying about an average salary of $85,000 in your first year. And amazingly, after that first year, if you're looking to get a more senior role, you can transition and get almost a $25,000 increase. So you could be making around $100,000 a year in just 1 to 2 years of experience in the field. You also get to work on really exciting projects and you solve important problems. You shape the future instead of the future waiting to happen, right? If you're working in that traditional career path, things, products, technology advances and kind of changes the way that those companies do business. But if you're working in the tech industry, you're the one who are creating those new products and helping understand how we can bring those to people to improve their lives. And the most important aspect, or the most fun aspect about the tech industry, is you're going to keep learning and growing. This is a field that is changing over and over and over again, right? If we think back to the past 10 years, technology has changed so rapidly, and it's going to continue to change that it's going to change the way that people in tech do their jobs. So you're always going to learn and grow. It's not that corporate ladder type of mentality where you just grow and grow and grow and then eventually retire. So that is this alternative route to tech. So what is so exciting and mysterious about this career path? Let's look at a few different things that we might not have known about a career in tech. So welcome to the tech industry. First thing that we'll uncover is tech is not just Facebook or Apple or Microsoft, right? It's sometimes when we think of the tech industry, we think of these big tech companies, and that's where our sort of predetermined thoughts take us to. But it has evolved to almost every sector of products and work out there, right? The tech is an industry that goes into all other sectors, and now more than ever, it's touching on almost everything, right? If we look at these images here, the first image is something around like Uber Eats or it's actually DoorDash, where you can go on and order food and have that delivered to you. It's such a seamless part of our lives. But if you think back 10 years ago, we didn't have that ability, right? We had to call restaurants or call places to be able to order food and go pick it up, or call and order delivery through the phone. Now we have technology to help us do that. The second image is of book clubs, right? Think of, your favorite things like book clubs and books and reading, one of your favorite hobbies. There is an app for you to discover and learn and even track some of your things. And then the last image might seem a little bit silly, but it's true. Even simple products like a toothbrush is now coming connected to some sort of application that can help improve the way you brush your teeth. So if this doesn't show you how tech sort of goes into every single industry out there, I don't know what does. And to kind of go back to what we were saying before, how tech is not just about those, computer geniuses who get these computer science degrees and know everything about computers. They need people now who understand the industry that you're going to be working in, right? If we look at this image of this toothbrush, somebody who may have been a dental assistant that knows, some dental information, some dental hygiene information could be a great person if they can acquire some tech skills, because they're going to be able to help bring that information, that knowledge that they know into this product and make it even better for the people who are using it. So that's why tech has become everywhere, because we need people from every industry to acquire those tech skills and make these products even better. And this is that path that a career in tech usually takes, right? Experience is more important than degrees. Getting those skills, acquiring those skills, that's something that's more important than a degree in tech. You then let those ideas shine. You showcase what you've worked on, how you've kind of gone through this process of creating something. You get to work with others in creating that future, right? We talked about those different products and how they're changing the way that we live and how they're integrating into our daily lives. That's what you get to work on. You get to go at a fast pace, setting these new trends. You keep learning and keep innovating, and then eventually you keep growing. And if you look at what we were looking at before, that corporate ladder, if you even get to some of the vice president positions in the tech industry can make up to $500,000 a year, and you can get there pretty quickly, especially now that tech is in almost every single industry out there. So there's more and more roles and more opportunity to, number one, get that entry-level job, and number two, continue to grow. So now I want to transition a little bit, right? We've talked about the traditional career path that you can take. We've discussed a few different things on what the tech industry actually is. Hopefully we've shed some light on some different types of information within the tech industry that we might not have known. But now let's take a look at what kind of jobs are out there. And every single year, new tech roles are being created. So there's more than 80 different types of roles in tech. And just to name a few, we have web developers and app developers. There's technical support. There's computer programmers. There's data analysts. We have UX designers. We have project managers. We have AI engineers, which is a huge buzzword these days. So there are so many different opportunities that you can find yourself in within the tech world. And these are just going to continue to grow as tech products become more and more integrated with our everyday life. So, but there's one really important pillar of the tech industry that I want to introduce you to. Hopefully you guys have an interest in UX UI design, and we're here to talk about why it's so important and why UX design has continued to grow as the tech industry has continued to evolve. So this is the one field that sort of brings everything together, right? Think of UX designers like a bridge between data and coding and the people who are using those products. Those data and those codes and those algorithms are what make products come to life, right? When you open your phone and you call an Uber, somebody had to code that and make that work. But the reason that it looks so nice and the reason that it's such a good experience when you go on that app and navigate through, how to call a car, it's because a UX designer understood how people need to have a better experience when they're using an application, and they transform that code and make it into something that's visible and easy to use and a positive experience for those users that are going to be using those websites or applications. And that's where UX design is so special, is because it's going to take something like this, right? This might look like a totally different language to you. I don't know code, so I couldn't tell you what exactly this means or what is trying to be coded here. But when a UX designer gets involved, it's going to turn into something like this, right? This is where UX design serves as that bridge between data and code, and then the users that are translating that technical, function into an intuitive and user-friendly experience, right? This looks like something like Airbnb. There is so much complexity into building this application that if you just let the code and the developers sort of take over, it would be a nightmare to try and book a hotel or book an apartment in some sort of city. But when UX designers get a hold of this, they can turn this app into an enjoyable, user-friendly experience that's also fun to look at. I don't know about you, but I've definitely gone on Airbnb before and just looked at different types of places that I could potentially stay at, even if I didn't have a vacation booked, because I enjoyed using that application. And that's what UX designers do. They make it fun to use. So who are UX designers exactly? They're future shapers, right? The new technology that's coming out today is going to need a designer to turn it into a positive experience for those users. They are the bridge, right? They're the bridge between that data, that code, and the user experience and what you actually see on that website or application. They're the human side of technology, because as a UX designer, you need to go and talk to the people who are using it and talk to the people who are having that problem to understand how to make this an enjoyable experience. So it's very people oriented, and then you enable those experiences, right? Just like Airbnb, people who are going on that application to discover places to go and discover really fun places to stay, that's an experience altogether, and that's what a UX designer creates. So I'm going to pause for just a second. I know I've been kind of going through this quickly. Do any of you guys have any questions? Kelly, if you have any questions or, share any insights or thoughts, I would be glad to address those. I know we had another person join, so please, by all means, utilize this chat and feel free to, share any questions or insights that you guys might have. All right. And while you're, thinking of that, or if you don't have anything to share, I'm just going to go ahead and keep on going. If something does pop up in that chat, I'll be sure to, awesome. Thank you, Kelly. I'll be sure to pause and address that for you guys. So we understand UX UI design now, right? We understand why it's such a critical piece of the tech industry and a critical piece of these products that we use every day. So let's talk about Elham, but there are a lot of layoffs going on in tech. Great insight. I'll go ahead and share that really quick before I jump into this, just so it's on the screen. So thank you so much for and you're not sure if it's a good, thank you so much for sharing this. And I just want to address that we do have a couple of other events that you can find on our YouTube channel about this specifically, where we talk about the tech layoffs. But just to sort of be brief about what those events cover, is that the headlines will tell you there's all these layoffs going on in tech, but in reality, there's more jobs being added than there's more jobs being than more layoffs happening. At the same time, these layoffs are happening more so at these larger companies like Amazon and Meta and things like that. where smaller companies, medium-sized companies are adding tech roles at a much quicker pace because they have to integrate these tech products into the way that they do business, because that's what users want. So I would encourage you guys to go and check our YouTube channel and look at those presentations on tech layoffs, and hopefully you can be a little bit more confident that this is still an industry that is growing faster than any other industry, and that there are still many opportunities out there. So Elham, I'm going to go forward. I'm more than happy to address this with you as we go on, but I absolutely encourage you to go and check that out as well. So let's transition back into UX UI design, right? Who can become, yeah, no problem. You can become a UX designer. So, before we do that, I just want to share this with you. We have been hosting these events pretty much weekly. We're covering many different aspects of the tech industry, and we would love to get some feedback. I'm going to go ahead, and if you scan this QR code, it will pop open a feedback thing for you guys where you can share, your insights on this. I'm also going to paste the link in the chat. So it just takes a minute or two to fill out. This is very helpful for us as we get to understand if we're addressing the topics that you guys want to hear. And for that appreciation of sharing your thoughts after you fill out this survey, we will then send you a $250 off coupon of our foundations course. And I'll go ahead and show you what that looks like and what our foundations program is about later on. But please, if you guys have some time, we would love for you to fill this out. So with that said, let's jump back into the presentation on who can become UX UI designers, right? So this is where we need people from different backgrounds to make great designers. As we were showcasing earlier in the presentation, tech products are working their way into every single industry, right? We were just showing that image of that toothbrush that now has an app associated with it. If you took all the tech people in the world to create that app, they're going to be missing the mark somewhere because they do not know anything about brushing teeth or dental hygiene. So we need people in the tech industry to bring in their expertise and gain some tech skills to be able to work to bridge that new technology and that new product that they're looking to launch with some industry expertise and information. And this is where UX design opens up a great career path into the tech field, because it's more about your background and your hobbies and your interests and your experience than it is about knowing tech. In this field, it's more important to be able to, bring out that human side of products. So who can become designers? People from art, because you have that creative thinking, that visual storytelling, you know what looks good visually. People from the English side of things, if you like English in school or were an English major, you have those strong communication skills, right? We're interacting with screens all day long pretty much now these days. You need to be able to make things easy and communicate things easily so people can process how they're supposed to use that technology. If you love psychology, that's amazing in UX design, because you're understanding that user behavior, you understand and can empathize with people to make those products actually work for them. History, you can kind of learn patterns and tell stories and recognize how things have transpired throughout history and turn them into a good product. Graphic design is always just being able to have that initial design skill. And then even anthropology, just being able to understand that research and that cultural sensitivity, right? Because tech goes beyond just your location. It can give you a global reach. So we need to be able to adapt to different cultures as we're launching these products in different parts of the world and even different parts of the country. So this is why it's so important to have that diverse background in technology and diverse people, because it's going to make that experience for that product relate to everybody. So, sorry about that. Here's the thing that comes up all of the time with UX UI designers. What if I can't draw? What if I'm not creative? And that's a myth. In UX UI design, you do not need to be a creative person. We will teach you what's called the design process. And that design process is going to bring out your creativity in ways that you didn't even think that you had. So look at this image of somebody who kind of just did this on the side, right? They were not really sure about design, and then they just sort of improved their skills. And you can see the amazing types of graphics that were created just by using different technology and improving their skill set. So as somebody who is, you know, not a creative person myself, or never thought of myself as a creative person, you learn the tools to bring that creativity out in you and design something that's going to be a good experience for users. And I'll show you a really cool case study of that in just a bit. So we're going to talk really quickly about how you become a designer. And this works if you had an interest in a different role in tech. This sort of process works very similarly. But basically, the first thing, you have to make that decision, right? You've learned some things today. You can do some research on your own. If you come to those conclusions, then this is an opportunity that you deserve. You then need to get educated. There's many different ways to learn out there those tech skills. If you wanted to come through our academy, our program will teach you in a very structured way and will help you make that career change. A lot of boot camps out there give you those skills that you need to get that entry-level job. From there, you build what's called a portfolio. A portfolio showcases your work. It gives you case studies. It combines them into a sort of a story, in a sense, to show how you worked on a project and what your process was to create that project. And that's what people look at when they're hiring for these jobs. And then you go ahead and get hired, you do the interview, and you can get that entry-level job. So that is what it takes to become a UX designer. It's not as complicated as it might sound. Let me show you very quickly a cool case study of our program. And again, if you're not interested in UX design, a lot of boot camps run in a very similar way. So if you wanted to learn how to code or data analytics or things like that, this is a similar process. But for design, we would love to be able to help you guys achieve that transition into tech. So we teach in a 3-step process. We have what's called our foundations program, where you learn the basics in as little as 8 to 16 weeks. So in just 8 to 16 weeks, you can learn how to become a UX designer and build your very first portfolio project. From there, if you're interested, you can join what's called Career Jumpstart. This is where you can work on real client projects with other designers. And then you also get some job search as well. So in just under a year, we can help people break in, and we have helped people break into tech, making on average $85,000 in their first role, and it can happen in under a year. So I encourage you guys to explore our site for that. What I will show you now is an example of what these portfolios look like. So this is what you actually end up creating when you come through our program. So this is what that portfolio that we were talking about, that case study that shows your process and what you design, looks something like this. So this was one of our students. She had an education background and has now become a UX designer. These are all of the different projects that she worked on and put them into her portfolio. So you can see she specifies her role. So she was a designer on a team of 5 people in both of these projects. These 2 were solo design projects, which is what you do through foundations. So in our foundations program, you design something as a sole UX designer, and then Career Jumpstart, you'd be working on project teams. But let me showcase what this app looks like and what she designed and how she designed it through our program. So this is basically the steps that our program takes and teaches you design. You first start by identifying a problem. And this student's problem was on designing a mobile app to help families travel easier, right? She indicated that families, especially parents that might be traveling with kids, really need help setting and planning that travel. So she then created something like this, and we'll show you how she did that through our program. So it took her about 10 weeks. So if you remember our foundations, you learn in 8 to 16 weeks and complete a portfolio project just like this. She talks about her process. This is the process of our course, and then the tools that she used. So this is the end result of the application that she created to help family members, plan travel and, just make it a little bit easier on them. So you can see it looks really nice. If I were to show you this, you'd probably think, this was some super expert who created this, not somebody who learned this in 10 weeks. So it's pretty amazing what you can actually learn to do in a short amount of time. And then this is the process for how you get there. And this is where you'll see all of those different types of skill sets that are needed in design, right? So you start off by doing some research, understanding, the background of your problem. In this case, understanding the background of people traveling with kids or people traveling, in larger groups. You find some, pretty cool insights through your research. You then talk to some people who are very related to that problem. So you could see these are some of the people that this student had talked to. You could see that they have kids, ranging from all different ages, and some have multiple kids. So you talk to them to understand some struggles and pain points that they're having. And then you start mapping out your findings, right? And we give you all the tools on how to do this. You start figuring out these insights into your research, and you start grouping them together into some common themes, right? And then from there, you then start coming up with ideas. You start thinking about the research you've done, thinking about the information you've gathered, and you start thinking of these really crazy out-of-the-box ideas, as many ideas as you possibly can that address those needs that you found in your research. And then from there, you can start that design process. And everything starts, I'll click on this image here. Everything starts very, very basic, right? You can see these are just sketches. A pen and a paper can do the trick when you're creating an app and you're sort of sketching out some interesting things that might translate to those ideas you thought of into a digital type product. And then now you can see everything start coming together, right? This is a map on how you plan to organize those pages within that application. This is a different way that users would get from one page to the other. And then you start bringing it to life. Again, you continue with the sketching, but you kind of start sketching more on what looks like to be a template of an iPhone and how the pages would look. And then the design starts to take shape, right? You start to go into this, what we call low fidelity, where it's sort of like a blueprint. There's no colors or anything yet. You're just sort of structuring how the page layout's going to be, or the screen layout. And then you start figuring out your color inspiration, and then you add it to those high fidelity, what we call high fidelity screens or hi-fi screens. And it looks, something like this, which is pretty incredible. From there, you actually can go and test this. So you create a real life working prototype that you can go and test with, some people that might be, interested in this product. And then after you test it, you can then get those findings, and we reflect on our testing, and we go and do what's called a before and after, where we make some tweaks, some minor refinements to our prototype, and then you have a finished product. So this is the process that we teach you through Avo Academy. You start with a problem and you end with a prototype of a functioning web application, a website or an application. And that's basically the gist of it. So to jump back over to the presentation, if this is something that stood out to you, that interested you at all, even if you have some thoughts or concerns, you might have one foot in the door, one foot out of the door, please schedule a call with one of our career advisors. They will be more than happy to talk you through our course. They'll talk you through UX design. They'll share some insights on the industry. And, even if you're not sure about UX design, they can provide you some incredible information that will help you make a decision. These calls are about 20 minutes, so they're not very long. So you can squeeze them in whenever you need. You can scan this QR code to do that. And what I can also do is share a link in the chat if you guys are interested in setting that up. All right, there's the link there. So you can easily schedule a call on your own availability. And if you wanted to explore some more information, you can check out, we're on Instagram, TikTok, on LinkedIn. You can email us at info@avocademy.com. And then you can also find us on our website at avocademy.com as well. So again, please encourage you to schedule a call if you would love to talk over some things. Our career advisors will be more than happy to help. So that concludes our topic today on not sure what you want to do with your degree, and hopefully we helped share some insights on how you can take your degree, whether it was in tech or not, and transition into that tech field. Are there any questions that I can help you guys with before we wrap this up today? I'll go ahead and give you guys a minute if you have any questions. Awesome. Don't think there's any questions here. So with that said, really appreciate you guys joining us. Kelly, Elham, I couldn't thank you guys enough for being able to partake in this live. If you are interested in exploring some of our other topics, please check out our YouTube channel, our TikTok, and you can see some of the other topics that we had discussed, especially the ones on layoff. I know you were talking about. Elham, is there a job guarantee for Career Jumpstart? Yes, we do have a job guarantee for Career Jumpstart. So if you did go through foundations and want to enroll, we do help you build that portfolio. We help you. We give you interview prep and interview practice, and we give you the tools to really optimize the way that you apply to jobs. And that is all backed by a job guarantee as well. So if you're interested in learning some more, please feel free to speak with our career advisors. Kelly, this is a good question. I'll go ahead and share that. How much do you encourage bootcamp like App Academy? I've had UX classes in my CS degree already. Awesome. So, and we actually did do a topic on this as well. So if you were interested in exploring some of our other videos, we talk about, we go into more specifics about how boot camps can really help you. And basically with boot camps, we're constantly changing the curriculum to give you the skills that you need to get that entry-level job. Sometimes in college and classes that go through universities, or community colleges, whatever it might be, they seem to base things off of the traditional aspect of how that field started, or the traditional aspect of of a particular job role or something like that. Whereas when you go to a boot camp, you're going to learn everything, all of the skills that you need to know that are going to get you hired in a short amount of time. And boot camps are much quicker to change curriculums than universities are. It's something that if technology changes, then that technology is being implemented right into that bootcamp curriculum as quickly as possible. So that's the only reason that we would encourage that, is because you'll learn those skills and you'll finish that program in like I say, foundations in 8 to 16 weeks, gaining those skills, having that skill set that would absolutely translate over to an entry-level job. So that's why we advocate for boot camps. And that's why if you look at some of our other presentations, you can see that the employment outcomes are very similar in terms of boot camp graduates and computer science graduates as well. Another great question, Kelly. Is it easy to complete a boot camp while I'm in a new job? Trying to get hired as soon as you can after graduation. So adding a boot camp might not work. It might not be feasible. So I can speak to App Academy, and some boot camps are similar to App Academy. Other boot camps are a little bit different, but the way that we work at App Academy is everything is paced on your own time. So when you join our program, there is a curriculum to follow, and that curriculum is going to be guided by online lessons and activities where you complete that project, that portfolio that we were showing you on your own time. So you watch the lesson videos, you work on those activities, and then we also have unlimited mentorship, and you can utilize that mentorship on calls, as well as through this dashboard that we have where they can review your work. So the thing with App Academy is you don't need to sit down at a certain time of day to be able to do that. And you can invest as little as 10 hours per week to make it through that 8 to 16 week curriculum. So if you have the time to be able to do this, as little as 10 hours per week, you can absolutely do that. We have had many students that are working and going to school that are also completing our program. And again, if you need some more information on what the time frames and things like that look like, our career advisors can help you. But I can assure you that there's no time that you have to commit each and every day. This is something that you can work within your own schedule. And I know there's boot camps out there like that as well. And there are some other boot camps that do require some dedicated time. So make sure you're doing that research if you're trying to decide on which one you want to join, that you can do one that allows you to do it on your own time. Perfect. So this was great. You guys had some great questions at the end there. And again, if you need to explore more, check out our other videos and schedule a call. If you guys don't have anything else for today, I'm more than happy to wrap this up, but you guys were awesome. Thank you so much again for joining this live. And hopefully we look forward to hearing from some of our career advisors. So feel free to reach out or you can send us an email as well. But thank you all so much. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. And hopefully we get to hear from you all soon. Take care.